What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Comedy Pop-Up Podcast. We have some live shows coming up. For more information on those shows, please check out our website, comedypopupla.com. And also, please follow all the podcasts on the CPU Podcast Network for more information on that. Follow us on Instagram at Comedy Pop-Up and at CPU Podcasts. All right, let's start the show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Comedy Pop-Up Podcast. I am your host, Paul Antonio, and I have two amazing comedy guests, well, more than comics, and we're going to get into that. Our first guest, he accomplished what few other gay comics have ever achieved. Brutal honesty with humor in a world that's not always kind. I forgot your last name's in here, and that was just going to ruin everything.
Jason Stuart.
You can't just drop your name right in the middle of the intro. Something you're telling me, you came out on Geraldo. Geraldo, yeah.
It's okay. Geraldo is that singer that used to go without his shirt. So I would like to come out with him. But no, I came out of the Geraldo show, which was telling Karen when we first came in. That was probably the second most popular daytime talk show in the 90s. Mm-hmm. Phil was first, Geraldo was second, and Oprah was third then.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I want to talk about that.
It's 25 years ago, so I'm having my 25th anniversary right now.
Nice. I'm 25 years old.
I know, so I'm going to help you with all these names. It's Jason Stuart, Stuart. It's
Jason Stewart.
It's Geraldo. I'm an actor and a comedian.
Yes, actor, comedian. You were on Birth of a Nation.
I had a supporting role in the film Birth of a Nation 2 years ago. I play a white heterosexual Christian plantation owner in 1831. Uh-huh. It's hard times in small farmers like you and myself. Breaking even's hard enough, and getting ahead's impossible.
Uh-huh. I mean, where'd you get your inspiration from for that? for that
hard work.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just really connected. Connected. The dialogue coach on the film, who was Nate Parker, the director, actor, star of the film, and writer, said, "Hey, where did you get that accent?" I said, "I don't know, roots." When I was a kid, I don't know.
That's a good place to draw. Our other guest, in industry terms, you're a triple threat comedian, tarot card reader, and a paranormal investigator. You've also been in the studio before, which is super awesome to have you back.
I have, yeah.
Let's just be honest. It's not a studio. We're in a hallway. This is a long hallway with some fake bricks on the wall that are painted white. I feel like
those might be real.
Are they real? Are they real bricks?
No, they're fake.
Yeah.
They're
fake.
fake.
I'm sorry.
But for the audio listeners,
it's like the set of the Dick Van Dyke Show.
We're gonna have people just running in and out at various times. Karen Rontowski's here.
Nice to
Karen Rontowski, yes.
Yeah.
I'm holding my eyes open with little toothpicks, but it's good to be here.
Yeah.
She's tired. She just got back from Santa Barbara last night.
Yeah, late show.
How was the show?
It was great, and their sound system was awful, but it just went well. But it was everything, you know.
It's what we do.
Everything runs late.
Yeah, it's what we do.
So
they call us,
Yeah.
I did one for you guys.
Yes.
A week ago Saturday. Just did a show, a pop-up show, and then they asked me to come and do this show for Evolution. Mm-hmm. And can I tell what happened?
Go for it.
It was a great show. It was fun. Mm-hmm. And I had a great time. Most of the people, I'd say the average age was 25 to 35. Uh-huh. And I'm 106. And one gal, I won't say her name because I can't remember it. I'm too self-involved.
Wasn't she Stewart, wasn't
No. She sent me this long IM message on Facebook. I do a joke called, there you go. I said, please be careful. There's this new date rape drug. So if you go to the clubs at night, you know, watch your drinks and stuff. Please be careful because I take it before I leave the house. I feel pretty. And she said she had been raped before and this was a serious subject matter and I shouldn't joke about it. Uh-huh. And I said, first thing I said, I was really sorry to offend you. That's never my intention. And the second thing is, you have the permission to get up and leave if this is not comfortable for you.
Yeah.
Comedy is like a poo-poo platter of things. Not every joke is going to hit. I mean, have you ever had that happen to you with someone thought a joke?
Yeah,
Which joke was it?
Mine is different. Mine's not like, well, you know, because I talk about paranormal and tarot, the Christians sometimes get upset. We're not here for that. They think it's devil stuff. So I get a different kind of protest.
Yeah, but that's come on. That's mine is,
Right. Well.
What's the worst one, though? Isn't there something terrible? Where you said something. I had one girl, I used to do a whole bit about being a dork as a kid. And she said, I was a dork as a kid. I finally got over it until you did this in your show. And it was at the Improv one.
Yeah.
So people get crazy over things that you would never think. Then I understand that rape is a serious issue.
Yeah.
You know, but I was saying it to myself about myself. I was not saying it about somebody else.
Yeah.
And that's a difference, you know, that I chose to take the pill and do whatever I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So the joke is thought out in that that way. That was my choice.
Yeah.
And never.
I do remember one that's the opposite, that I changed a joke. I got a ticket in way up in Nevada, and the joke was something about referring to the police officer as being gay, and everybody's laughing. This was long ago, and two women in the front got really angry, and I said, "What's wrong with you guys?" And they said, "We don't think that's the right way to use that word," or you know what I mean? Like I was making fun of gay people when I was trying to make fun of the cop, and then I went back and I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? They're right. This is not sounding right, and I yanked it. So that's the opposite. But but I was absolutely in the.
What do you guys think about the Kevin Hart thing? Because I did some due diligence on it before anybody, because everybody says something and it's out there, and then all of a sudden it's over before you even get to breathe or think about it. And when it first came on, I saw him on a Instagram video, and he was just waking up. I think he's in Paris or geez, he's waking up, it seems so glamorous. Yeah. And he said, basically, you could see he was irritated. And he said, oh God, this is so quick. This is 10 years ago or 9 years ago. Right. I'm not the same person I was. I talked about this and he said, I talked about this in Rolling Stone, which is a major magazine. We're not talking about some little, teeny little magazine somewhere. It's a major international magazine. And then I went in and I looked up on the net. I read what he wrote about it. And he basically said, this was my homosexual panic, that I would say this about my kid. I would love my kid no matter what. And he went on to talk about, and basically apologize for it. And this, I think it was quite a long time ago that he did this article there, maybe 6 years ago or something. I don't know. Yeah. I don't really know. I'm just guessing. And he had apologized. So then he commenced to say in another Instagram message that he said, look, I'm not going to apologize again for something that I already did. And the fact that we're forcing people to apologize. So I called Tiffany Haddish, who's a friend of mine, and I sent her a text. I said, look, please tell Kevin that I'm a proud gay man. And like Maya Angelou always says, when you know better, you do better. Yeah. And that's basically what he was saying to me. That's what I got from it. Yeah. So the idea that we don't have him as a host now, that no one's allowed to make a mistake or say something wrong, and I think it's really important too, where the intention is. What is the intention? Yes. When you do the joke. Absolutely. His intention was to speak to a group of people and to be funny first. Yeah. And his second intention was to relay an experience that he thought that his audience would get. And I think at that time, I don't particularly like the idea of him saying that he's going to reject his kids because they were gay. Yeah. Or nobody likes that. But I don't, I think what he said in the joke, if I'm correct, is that he would, kill them, or just would, it was about Barbie dolls or playing with the wrong. It's some silly stuff like this. And he's not the only person that's done jokes like this.
Oh yeah, Tracy Morgan.
Tracy Morgan, but that was a riff that he went crazy about. Yeah. And I was asked to make a statement about that. I mean, it's different.
I think that's why our political system is so messed up. We expect these people to be perfect, and then we cut them down when we find out what went wrong there. And I think that whole thing has to go to the side. And I'm going to probably get mad about this. People get mad about this, but I think Chris Hardwick got the wrong end of Me Too. And I don't even know him.
Yeah. Well, did you do your due diligence to find out what the situation was?
I read the girl's account, and I thought, this is how people break up. Or, you know what I mean? Or like I didn't find what he did that.
Well, what I was to understand is that he and her were together. Living together. He started this nerd comedy thing. He brought her on to work with him on it. Is that correct? Or do they do it together?
That wasn't really the part I heard her complain about.
That's the part, though, that means something to me. Whether they get along or how they broke up doesn't matter to me at all. That's personal. That's the only thing.
Because I didn't hear the complaint about that.
The idea is that she took his name off of everything of the site, because he had left the site 2 years, to do other things. Yeah. And then everything was taken off like he never existed, and she was still running it, apparently. Is that what happened?
I'm not too sure.
So we don't know, so it's hard to make a decision. So go ahead.
Tell me. That's almost, I read her complaint about him, which was a lot of, he didn't want me to leave the house and a lot of stuff like that. Business stuff is business stuff. Manipulating and controlling is very different. And I did not feel like she was you know what I mean? Yeah. And that's like, I got an email about a friend of mine, and somebody said, he's not the nicest guy. And she went through this whole long list, and I was like, listen, you're gonna delude the Me Too movement by putting this stuff in.
Yeah.
Okay, because people are people.
You're being an asshole doesn't mean you're a rapist or a molester.
Right.
Or,
and don't be a victim in that situation. You be a victim when you're a victim. This is just
the thing that bothers me about it, and what I'm really starting to understand. Tell me if you agree, and you too, Paul. Right?
Yes,
Paul. Is that the idea that I can stop you from having a job or not give you the opportunity to compete because you do something I don't like? And that's not fair.
You mean, be more clear on that. I'm sorry.
Okay, so all this Louis C.K. stuff where he never touched anybody, and he asked people to come to his hotel room. He showed them their penis and masturbated, I guess. I don't know if it went to completion or whatever. And the fact that they stayed there because they felt that he was a famous comedian and they wanted to be able to get a job, work with him. And so they were afraid to leave, that he would say something badly about them or whatever. That's where I think the line to me is drawn, is that if he would have power over them not to get work. And that's why I agree with the women,
right?
That he used his power as a successful comedian and producer to stop other people from getting work. I don't know exactly all the details. So I can't make a real intelligent decision on it, but I think that's, for me, is where the line is drawn. Is if I did something wrong with you and then I was more successful and you couldn't get a job because I did something, that's where it happens. And I think this happens all the time in Hollywood.
Yeah, and I'm all over the map with that. And I also think it is good to start every show with a rape conversation. I think that's where you should start it.
But it's what we're really talking about is just the whole idea of what's going on now. It's just it's a bit overwhelming of how to handle everything.
And I think the thing with Louis, was I think there were a couple of women that felt trapped in the green room. That's a different story. Now that's a little scary to me.
Yeah.
And the other stuff, yes, you're absolutely right. That's the male power structure. In fact, sometimes when they get so upset about the men being charged with this stuff, which most of them have done, like Tony Robbins, what a jerk. Yeah, they're like, oh, well, men could lose their jobs because of this. And it's like, hey, do you know how many women didn't get the job, didn't get the chance because of this?
Yeah.
Or, how would working with Matt Lauer, those poor women, like, what? He did what? He locked the door behind you. What happened?
But we hear, that's the thing about all that is we hear pieces of it. We don't know what the real story is, and we all have an opinion about it.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what I'm afraid of. That's the thing that we hear one piece and then we run down the street screaming. We don't know what the whole situation is. And if it is, I always say, if that's the way it went down with Louis, if that's the way that happened,
right?
Can he go to jail for that? No. But can he never be able to work again? I don't know. What's the time? I don't know. That's what everybody's talking about right now.
The other thing that's about the women, which is, this is why I don't want to speak for women, because there's a couple of kinds. There's the women that would have done that intentionally to get somewhere with him. You know what I mean?
Well, there's the other side of that, yes.
The women that
and I have an issue with that. I'll tell you why. Because as a gay man, I have I can't do that with any. I have no casting couch ability because there's, in the comedy world, there's very few gay people that are in any power.
And the women that will do that are what are ruining it for everybody. But we're not going to stop it. It's just going to keep going, right?
But now it's happening with men because there's a lot of very attractive men that are doing comedy. It used to be where this was our job,
right? Or either
now it's not anymore.
Yeah, the person that's bringing the extracurricular activities. And this is just me, but I never forget. I once had a conversation with Dom Herrera, and I was worried because somebody in the business was mad at me. And Dom Herrera just looks at me and goes, you can't be fired from show business. And I was like, you know what? He's right. Like, if you think Louis and his people hold a can to everything, then you are screwed. But to me, there's always, look at this. Look what we're doing. We're in the internet. We're on that's where people are. I did
now. Dom's radio show probably, God, 5-10 years ago. I can't even remember. And he was making a lot of gay jokes. And I was like so over it that day, just so over it. And I said something, I said, well, you're fat. And he didn't talk to me for years.
Wow.
He barely would talk to me.
Well, I don't know. He was always, but that's my favorite statement. You're not going to be fired from show business care, and he's right.
I think it affected me because he was good friends with Jamie.
Oh well, I
don't know. I think he would.
But you know what?
He never asked me to be on any of his shows anymore. He never asked me to be on his show at the. So it did affect me. It did affect me. He was allowed to say it to me, but I wasn't allowed to say it to him.
Well, and you know what? Too, maybe you got a million fans that were like, "Yeah, glad someone said it," or shut him up. You know what I mean? Like you never know. I
didn't know what to say. Sometimes it's so over. When I came out, 25 years ago, it's just sometimes if I hear, I had no idea you were, gay. I had no idea. Oh, the big surprise, Jason. I said, it has nothing to do with you. It has to do with me
on
taking
Geraldo,
my power back.
On Geraldo, not Geraldo.
Yes.
Right,
Geraldo Rivera.
I'm learning. I just graduated a couple years ago, right?
From what?
Cal Poly Pomona.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's a feat.
Thank you.
Did you graduate from a college?
Fitchburg State.
No, me, no. I never. No. I went there for the weekend, and that was it.
I almost flunked out of high school, and then I went to college. I wanted to get out so fast. I graduated a semester early, got on a plane, and became a cigarette girl in Las Vegas.
Really?
Yes. But you were telling a story. I'm sorry.
Cigars, cigarettes?
Yeah.
We're getting back to that for sure. Because that's so I had to take, in order to graduate, I had to take Title IX training, which is sexual harassment training.
Oh.
And this is supposed to be the legitimate where you get certified as having taken this course of like, you understand what sexual assault is, right? And what it really showed me was there's still so much gray area that like in no part of that training was there any mention of like nonverbal cues? Was there any mention of like, it's the standard no means no, right? And now obviously we're transitioning to yes means yes, which is also important. But the gray area is becoming with a lot of these Me Too stories is, well, I felt uncomfortable during the time. I mean, you guys remember the Aziz story?
The whole thing was I read the article.
Yeah.
That's all I did. It was read the article.
Yeah.
That was written by this woman. I got the impression from the article. Did you read the article?
No, I'm so sorry.
Did you read it?
I read,
I read the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I just felt that she was giving two sides to the story, which was good.
Yeah.
One gal felt uncomfortable, but never said no.
Yeah.
And he, was attracted to her, and I guess not attracted to her to have a relationship with her. Maybe after having this weird kind of uncomfortable sex thing where she yes, no kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what happens with straight people because I haven't had straight sex since 1983. And that was even drunk sex that I had in a hotel room, and I threw up afterwards.
But my hair was really short.
Was it?
So you may have not.
And then before that, I was 21 before I was having any sort of. So I don't know. I know for me, and I'm a man. If somebody touches me and says they want to have sex with me, and I don't want to have sex, I say, "Look, buddy, it's not going to happen." But I'm a man, and I'm a big guy. I work out, and I can stop that. But for a woman, I understand it's a whole other thing,
and it's very intimidating,
right? But I'm intimidated by straight guys sometimes too. We're talking about in the comedy world. I've had more straight men hit on me than anybody.
Wow.
Not in a sexual way, but in a what would you call it? When a straight guy will grab your ass and try to be funny, or and that's okay. It doesn't bother me. I mean, it's just being funny.
Lesbians do that to me quite often, and especially
in the comedy
when I was a
world.
Cigarette girl, not in the comedy world.
Oh, I'm talking about the comedy world.
But no, I haven't really had
not
any
anymore.
Terrible. And I stayed in condos for years, but I am my walls are up. I'm always like, it's clear if I want to be with you, and I don't have trouble making that decision. I know some women are kind of sort of in and out, but I think that's interesting when men do that to you because
all the time I've been demeaned until I got older, and now you can't really say anything to me because I'm old and I don't care and I just walk away. But I've had it happen to me by club owners, by other male comedians, most of them that I would know to be heterosexual. Making all sorts of disparaging things all the time. And it happened for years and years and years.
That has to be their own fear or them trying to prove to you that they're not afraid. Like that's almost overcompensating. Like, look how cool I am.
I don't know.
But it's one of those things that people don't realize feels threatening. I remember I was working on the road with a guy, and he tried to do this thing. What is that where you pull up the underwear, and little kids used to do it to each other?
Like a wedgie?
Like a wedgie. And he was like, and I was like, whoa. And he was like, you didn't think that was sexual, did you? And I was like, yeah, I thought you were touching me, and it was sexual. And it was, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That's weird. But I think this is something we're never going to win. here's the good news, though. I think your generation is going to get it right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with all the terms
We're
they have,
learning from you guys.
fluid, or I think the soul is bisexual. You don't know how many straight people I know. When I read tarot, a lot of people tell me that, like, sometimes people call me for tarot readings, and I think they just want to confess to someone that is not in their circle. And I know a lot of straight people that have been like I know a woman that was like, I'm completely straight, but I was in love with this woman. We lived together for years, and now she's married to a man. And I know men that were like, yeah, I just this one guy. And I'm like, you know what? The soul is
I hear it with women.
bisexual.
I hear it with women much more than I hear it with men.
I think it really is. This is the funny thing, because I work out and I think I'm tough and I'm whatever.
Oh, yeah.
I'm on my bike.
For those at home, we're friends in real life. Karen and I are really friends.
But that doesn't,
I adore her.
A guy I was doing an acting scene with that I didn't know, we're doing a cold read in an acting class, picked me up and threw me against the wall. And it was,
wow.
I'm not okay with that. And
That's who is.
Yeah. But it was also that lesson of, as someone that used to be a personal trainer, men's muscles are double as strong as women's muscles. And I think I could fight my way out of anything. Probably couldn't. It was just this example of this guy that it was so
much bigger than you are.
So much bigger, so much stronger, how slight that could happen, how easily it could just be.
But let folks know at home, because I've been an actor a really long time, if that was going to happen in a movie, it would be worked out, it would be choreographed, and it would be shot in a way that Karen wouldn't get hurt.
Yeah.
Right.
And that would be really important. If he's going to throw her up against the wall, there would be, a mattress below that she could fall on, or there'd be something that the wall would be made out of something that's soft, so she wouldn't hurt herself.
I'll tell you who it was later too.
Okay.
The famous person.
Wow.
Yeah. And
that happens in class, but sometimes people get carried away. And they
right.
don't,
And I don't have
emotion,
any problem with him. But
did he apologize?
No. I think he thought he was doing it in the moment, and then the discussion opened up in class. So I don't think he's out throwing women around, and it's not. It was bad, but I'll explain. It wasn't. It was really bad, but it put me in the scene, and they were kind of like, well, that's how, and I was like, no, I don't think I'm okay with that. But I don't think he's doing it to everyone. But I think he was young, and he thought, this will do it. And
that is a Marlon Brando moment.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, the fear, that's something that's so like, that, I mean, as a straight guy, like it's something that you don't think about,
Right.
when you have somebody in your car. And I'm like, so I drive Lyft on the side too. So I pick up plenty of, girls and stuff. And when I pick them up, the number one thing they tell to me, like at the end, is like, hey, I just want to thank you, like, for not hitting on me. I was like, yeah, of course. Why? It's like, well, you don't understand. People view this as an opportunity to like.
See, I'm the opposite way. I would love someone to hit on me. I am so tired of not being hit on.
I was just going to say, I'm 53. I'm way past human trafficking. No longer a threat. No longer a
See,
threat.
that girl would be so upset who wrote the thing for you making a joke like that.
I know. Well, she
wrote a really, it was like long, one of the longest things, and I felt bad.
Yeah.
Well, you hit a trigger, and that's the one.
But why don't people get up and move? Why don't they just go? That's what I don't get.
Because it's easier to type things out. It's easier to be that, to appear, especially in a public forum. Well, I know this was probably a private message to you, right?
Yes.
But in a public forum.
But why did she just get up and walk? And then she said, I said something about her outfit. I don't even remember, honestly. A sweater or something. She said, you clothes shamed me.
No, that's not.
Yeah, clothes shame.
That's not a thing.
That's not a thing.
Okay, because I thought maybe that was the thing.
But you triggered her, and you know what?
Yeah, she used that word, trigger.
It made her feel like a victim again, which is her own psychological stuff. You know what I mean? Because we can't be afraid of words.
Well, I really feel bad, and that's never my intention.
Right, that's never your. I know. Well, I know some comics it is their intention, but I'm with you. I know we know who you are. We know your heart's good. We know you never want to hurt anybody.
No, but I do have a sort of Joan Rivers, Don Ricklesy kind of act.
Yeah, and you don't pick on one person.
No.
Yeah.
And I always pick on the most attractive people because then no one will care.
Yeah. That's a good trick. Young comics listening out there, write that down. I had a thing where, and I hate defending.
Do you do stand-up?
I do stand-up.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. I've only done it a couple of years, but I hate defending a bad joke, right? Like I hate defending a joke that's like supposed to be like a little throwaway thing. But just to show how like somebody can get triggered, I wrote a joke, which I'm not proud of. It was a dumb joke. It was supposed to be, I like to write like absurd stuff, basically stuff that would never happen. But I'll use anything. So the joke that I wrote, and I hate this joke, but I wrote it and I said, I hate when chicks ask, what are we? Especially after you just kidnapped them. Like it's such a dumb little.
See, that's what my joke sort of is. That same kind of absurdness of it,
Right?
And you, just when you say chicks, some women are offended by that.
Yeah, but I had a girl message me, and I didn't respond to it every day for a week with new articles and this and this. And her argument was, "You're promoting rape culture." Like with that kind of joke.
This is a weird society. I mean, right now,
We're in transition.
We are. You can't say transition anymore because then because both Paul and I will lose our penises during that. And you can't say, "Hey, I'm going out." You know, me too. Can I go? And you can't say me too.
Right.
Me too. No, you can't say, "Hey, time's up." You know, time's up. You can't say that, and you can't say retarded at all.
Oh, but I'm okay with that because I have friends with autistic kids, and I think that. But
autistic isn't retarded.
And you call them that all the time,
right? But that's like when words go away. I'm totally okay if you're like, that's not what we say anymore. I remember a long time ago, somebody corrected me because I said Oriental. This is a long time ago, and I was like, oh, okay, we don't say that anymore. Okay, but
it's now Asian.
Yes, and I have two jokes that people
Oriental's
go,
a rug.
Ooh, right. That's what they said, and I was like, okay.
Oriental dressing.
Oh yeah,
is there Oriental dressing?
Is
yeah,
very good.
Go to Waba Grill, Oriental dressing, get the look from the
Oriental
cashier.
Spa. I've seen it. There's
But
on the street.
when we were kids, that would have never have
no,
been.
not at all.
Right.
Forgot. I'm interrupting. Go ahead.
But I have two jokes that are right on that edge, and one of them is that I don't know why Bruce Jenner wanted to become a woman after living with the 5 worst examples of us. And then they think about that, and you go, oh, wait, that's making fun of the Kardashians. That's not making fun of him.
Yeah.
And the other one that I can't do at a corporate, I say, I wonder if there's a society of dragons, and in all their restaurants, they have pictures of Chinese people on the walls, which is simply a reversal.
Flip.
Yeah.
So, but I had somebody in TV say, you can't say Chinese on TV. So I don't know. So, but we'll get over it.
I guess so. Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't care.
No, I think.
I mean, I do care.
But isn't
I
it
wanna
funny?
know if I'm
Crazy
wrong.
Rich Asians, just like any other movie, they are that minority is no different than any other minority group.
Yeah.
The guy who plays the male lead, I think is half Asian and half white. And I think that's so interesting. Halle Berry, first woman to win an Academy Award that's black, is half black. Obama, Barack Obama, first man to become president is black, is half black. I think that's sort of interestingly weird, the idea that they still want people to look white, heterosexual, Christian, patrician Christian, that look. They still want it. Like if you watch these Chicago shows, all the people are different races, but they all still look white.
And the lead is always white. Almost always. It's but
no, because look at Shonda Rhimes' show, Station 19. It's a Latin and a black guy are the lead, so that is changing.
And that could be, but that's
starting.
kind of one show. It is starting. I agree.
Yeah, and Shonda Rhimes is,
look at your Senate and your Congress. It's just
look at the
Republic.
Look at the Republicans,
right?
All white, 10% minorities, the rest white. That's every minority you can think of in one. And then and I'm not saying that's the number. I'm just guessing. But you look at the Democrats. We've always had a lot of women. We've always had, and now is it 50-50 with women and men?
It could be, but you know what I feel like? I feel like in 6 months we're going to be having a different conversation, but about who's the president and what not, and this and that. But I really feel like this is what makes me sad. I know those Republicans can't look at Trump and think he's telling the truth. They can't. And they would rather have a white man lie to them than a black man tell them the truth.
But what I don't understand is we have the video of it, and it's still not good enough.
Right.
Yeah.
And Bill Clinton he really wasn't impeached by just the House.
Yeah.
He wasn't completely impeached. I don't understand exactly how that works, but he was at half impeached, and Nixon wasn't impeached. He quit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same situations.
Yeah, he was lying.
But Bush
we
is
falling for it. How are we falling for it?
I don't understand. Howard Dean got too upset and they kicked him out.
I know, that was weird.
Gary Hart, they didn't even see him. He was just in a picture with a woman. I mean, it's all this stuff, and now he is like Teflon. And
For now.
why is everyone so afraid of him?
Yeah, somebody called him the Teflon Donald, which I thought that was a really good.
I think I think everyone's afraid he's gonna call him a name. Like seriously, I think people are afraid he's gonna attack them and make fun of them.
I don't know. I think it's bigger
I think
than that.
people are that fragile. But as my astrologers say, I'm not worried for long.
Are you doing a reading today on the show?
No, no, I didn't bring my cards.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Can you do an emotional reading?
Yeah.
Sure.
So upset. You know, I broke up.
I know, but
I'm
you
still
know what?
getting over it.
I know. We'll talk after the show. Now we're talking in code. I'm very sorry.
I'll just say it. I was dating this guy. I met him 6 months ago, and I fell in love. And he was just wonderful. He's Italian. He's a brand new gay, real Italian from Sicily, just like out of the box, like a Star Wars figure. No one touched him or messed him up. He was like a collectible. He had that new gay car smell. And then he, when I did Hank, that movie that you like so much, I gained 15 pounds to do the movie, and then I lost 10 of it. And he says, "Oh, don't get too skinny. I like you the way you are." I said, "I'm going to marry you before Trump has you deported." And then he, went back to his ex, and it broke my heart. He told me he loved me, and now I'm trying to get Trump on the phone so we can deport him.
Was his ex male or female?
Oh, male.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were the first.
But I don't think that's done. Well, we can talk later.
You don't think that?
No, because if you listen to it, I gave you a reading and I wanted you to listen to it.
I did listen. It's done for me.
Well, the second, because I kept saying to you,
how can I go back with him?
I know. Well, that's up to you.
This?
But I remember I kept saying,
how can I ever
there's
trust
a breakup coming. And you said, no, we already did it. And I said, I think another one is coming. And you said, but you know what? That's
how can I go back with him? How can I ever trust him?
I don't know.
And he said to me, he was just mad at him for what he had done, that he realized that he really loved him. He didn't say, "I'm just doing this."
Right. Well, you know what? I just never
get a green
say
card.
never. I know you got to move on, but never say never. Life is different.
Now, I have a question about tarot cards. I feel like tarot cards are one of those things in popular culture that people know of, but don't know of.
And they're very much in the popular culture. They did not used to be.
Oh, you really? I see people are always taking out those cards.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of people are doing it.
Recently now, yes.
Yeah,
a lot.
I like the only reading I've ever had was like 3 years ago at of all
Well,
places.
you don't have a life yet. You're 25.
That's true.
What are they going to read? What are they going to go? Oh, you remember when you were in the sandbox? Remember you were playing with yourself in the sandbox, and you're with. I mean,
how do you know what I do on the weekends?
I don't mean it like that. I mean playing with the other kids.
It's like sandpaper. But so I had a tarot card reading, and what was crazy was it was just some guy who did it. I don't even know if he was qualified.
And you were naked, and you were just sitting there, and you were going, "Why do we have to be naked for this?"
I think he tricked me now, looking back on it. But he pulled out a card that was like, basically said there was like a presence in your life that appears good, but is going to be very negative for you.
Okay.
And like months later, because I was with my ex, and I never realized how manipulative she was. And like my life, like at that point, like I almost like flunked out of school because I was too busy taking care of her and not taking care of anything.
Wow.
So
Was
it became
she really high?
She worked at the time.
At the time, she worked for me. But she kind of did that thing where like. And obviously, most of this is on me. But when you're in the relationship, you're kind of in that trance or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I used to be. Like,
look at this. We were like, for those at home, we look like little dogs. We look like little dogs in the back of the cars.
Yeah, where your judgment gets screwy.
Oh yeah. So I used to be going to the gym. I used to be 6'1", 185, and like even fast forward to like
That's
today.
odd. Now he's 5'2".
6'1"?
No, 6 foot.
How tall are you now?
6 foot.
Stand up.
I'm 6 foot.
He is 6 foot.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
For some reason, you didn't look as
He
tall.
looks very small.
You look shorter sitting.
I really do, and I don't know what it is. Everybody always tells me we thought you were a lot shorter than
Did
you
you
are.
have super long legs? So
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Yes, you have really long legs.
Yeah. So I was 6 foot 185, and with her I gained 60 pounds. But she
60.
because she used to tell me
Jenny Craig works. What I do is I eat all the food in 5 days, and then I starve myself for 2. And that's when I weigh myself.
I just lost 10 pounds on Weight Watchers.
Did you? You look gorgeous.
Thanks.
nice.
Yoga teacher told me I look great.
You didn't have to lose that weight.
No, but then I got the curve. Otherwise, I'm just a straight old lady. Now I met a yoga teacher in front of all the young girls. Who goes, Karen, you look great. And I was like, woo. But anyways, we're off.
Are you getting ready for a guy? Is that what?
I think one is coming. Yes, I do. Actually.
Good for you. You deserve someone.
Is that
I
just like a
You're
feeling?
going to have to take
or-
those weird patches, flowers off the wall in your house.
Oh.
You know how I hate that.
I'm hoping to move. I'm in a numerological.
You're going to move?
I think I might.
Where? You have a
I'm
great
looking for
apartment.
a guest house. I do have a great apartment, but We're way off.
it's fine. It's fine. We're good.
It's very close to electrical lines, and I'm getting an antsy feeling. And I need to be grounded.
You're electric?
I'm right next to the big electric power box, and there's some.
So you feel like it's giving you a perm you don't want?
Yeah, I think it's a little EMF strong. And it's
EMF? What's
very,
EMF?
Electromagnetic field. It's
I thought that was a rock band in the 60s.
It is EMF.
80s. Is it
ELO.
EMF?
No,
ELO.
it's yellow.
Oh, okay. That was the 80s, right?
Yeah,
Did we even get to the question?
Oh.
We did not.
What was the question?
No, so I'm so curious about like tarot card reading and like, so
How does it work?
how does it work? But also, is it something that kind of after the reading kind of manifests itself, or is it something that was already going to happen?
Very interesting question, because I'll tell you how they work, but I have to tell you, I think you would not believe how many women come to me and say, I've been trying to have a baby for 5 years. I've been trying to have a baby we can't have a baby. What should we do? And I flip the cards and go, I have no idea why you're not pregnant. You're supposed to have a baby and it's going to happen. A week later, they will call and say, I'm pregnant. And it happens over and over and over. And I almost wonder if psychologically, somebody just gave them permission to have the baby, or somebody said,
So you're the baby maker.
you would not believe how many pictures.
Don't look at me. I don't want any kids. I can't have kids. I have nice furniture.
I think that's it. Well, I think the first thing with tarot is the future is fluid. So what I tell you is you can change it, or, I think we have bullet points in our life that we hit. And how we get to those is our own choice. But they are the tarot cards are literally archetypes that are already in our heads, like young, and if you go through any story, there's a great script writing book called The Writer's Journey.
Yes, I've heard of it.
That is literally the fool's journey in the tarot. It's the same thing. It's like the same. We don't realize Ron Howard says there's only one story. He's right. There's only one. So I know
What's the story?
It's bad. No, but I know he probably pulled up I would say maybe he pulled up the Queen of Swords, so he knew exactly who your girlfriend was, kind of said, watch out, or he pulls one or two cards. When you study the cards and you get to know what they mean and you get to know all about them, and then they put images in your head. So anyone can do it. I've been studying for years, but anyone can do it.
It's funny because I've had my cards done quite a bit over the years. And I've always had people say that I'm going to fall in love, and then it doesn't happen. I guess I do fall in love.
You did fall in love, yeah.
It doesn't work out. They didn't tell me that part. And they always say that I'm going to be incredibly successful. And I don't feel incredibly successful. I feel like I've had a nice career. I've been able to make a living for around 30-something years. But I always think that there's always some cachet to it. I get to the top, and then somebody stops me.
Well, that's very interesting because I think we stop ourselves.
Oh, great! So it's my fault
Yes,
again.
it's your fault.
Why
I'm
does it always
sorry.
have to be my fault? I have no desire to stop anything.
You know why that book, The Secret, didn't stick around? Because they kept saying, manifest it, manifest it, manifest it. You're never going to manifest it if you don't realize why you're repelling it. You got to ask, what's the fear? What's the underlying thing? What's the...
I don't have a fear of success.
Well, I bet you do somehow.
I don't.
Also, another thing, though, you seem to have a time limit on it.
Honey, I'm 106. How much later do I have to wait?
You can ask Betty White. I don't know.
Betty White had, she had a series, Mary Tyler Moore in the 70s, The
Right.
Golden Girls in the 80s. Come on, that's
I know,
not
but
fair.
you know what?
Betty White,
All right,
Cloris
then you should
Leachman.
quit. You should quit and go become a waiter.
I can't.
See, but that's
I can't
my
be a
point.
waiter.
There,
I can only
not
play a
over.
waiter.
It's
Hey,
not
intern at
over.
the
No, I know.
It's not over.
I hated that you're being so
Now,
tough on me.
do you think it's a perspective thing in terms of like
So, okay, what's your perspective of me when you looked me up to do this?
when I looked you up, I felt like success.
He is a success,
you know, like
yeah.
I when I read your bio and everything, I was like, this is a very if by the like at my career, like if I could ever touch on some of the things you've touched on, I would feel successful.
Yep.
So maybe it's
I do. It's just that I thought it would be easier. I guess that's it. I thought it would be easier from each thing to each thing.
Nothing's easy.
Yeah, and I thought there would be a cushy moment, and that doesn't.
But you know
and
what?
when it
That
does,
again is perspective. I think I am in a completely cushy moment. And have you ever seen me when I wasn't running to the next gig or the next show or the next? My life is
but
so
you're
on
crazy.
track right now. But you know what? You adopt the
Right.
more I adopt this happiness that I really do feel that I'm like, look, I'm 53. I just started a podcast. I just started a web series. I could not be more thrilled.
Well, I am making a new web series.
Yeah, but
This is the
you
first
gotta
time
love it.
I'm making a new web series. Yeah, well, we'll see what happens with it.
Right.
I mean, you never know artistically what's going to
But
happen.
I don't know that
I'm
there's
having a good time, though.
Yeah, I don't have a finish line. I can say, well, I wish I was making a whole bunch of money from this or that. But you know what else? You have to up the ante. For the first time, I'm going to go out and try and rent a place and see if the podcast fans show up. You got to try. You know what I mean? And you got to take logical steps to get there. So maybe what you're thinking is success. You got to
I had a certain idea of how it should look.
right, and we should never have that because when we do that, we limit. It's like I remember listening to this witch, and people would say, "I want to manifest. Give me a spell to win the lottery." And she was like, "Why would you do that? Why don't you just do a spell to bring money to you, and then it can come from all different sources."
Seems like if it doesn't work out, we just have to change how we look at something to say that we are a success.
Oh, well, I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm a success, but you probably wouldn't be happy with my bank account, but I feel like I'm on the right. I'm like happier than I've ever been.
I couldn't leave that far in the valley. No.
So your series Paranormal Karen, which is awesome. I kind of viewed the snippets on Instagram. They're so funny.
Where is the series on now? Tell us.
That is the series because
It's
what
on
I did-
Instagram.
as every week I go to a different haunted place or I do an astrological sign or I do something like that. And it's only the reason it's only a minute is because I started on Instagram and then I just blasted everywhere. And I got 80 episodes, 78 episods.
78 minutes.
78 minutes, yeah.
You're almost a feature film.
I know. And it's on some people's desk, but you know what? It's a great, I love doing it. I hope it's a show. No one seems interested, but nobody likes comedy paranormal. They don't really know what to do with it. But I'm having a blast and see, he likes it. You like it.
Positive review.
Well, I like watching
5-star
anything you do.
Well, I like the fact that it is comedy, but it is still like kind of like a paranormal aspect to it.
Right.
But so is it technically, because obviously you have this paranormal roots of like, you actually
An
are about it.
investigator,
Yeah. Do you feel like it was something that you wanted to attack like kind of like as parody, or was it something of like you just wanted to combine the two aspects of your life?
I just that is who I am.
She's real. No, she's read me several times. She's real.
Yeah.
She's totally real. I mean,
and people
and
know.
she's totally funny.
Yeah.
They're just. Oh, I'm answering it for you.
Oh, thank you.
But it's two things that have sort of melded together.
Yeah.
Right. And it was like I host paranormal conventions and I do comedy there and stuff. And
On the subject of.
yeah, I mean, and I don't know if you know, I have my hour-long podcast, which is real paranormal people and hauntings and demonologists and stuff. And I don't like I think I'm very lucky in that those two things are just going to come together. They're always going to be there. I'm not like on a trend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's in, so I'm doing it. So I think it comes natural, but I like I can also, like my friend Brian is always going, see, only you could say that. And it's the truth of who you are, the authenticity, is I was at a UFO conference and a lady gave me a UFO reading and she said, you have a lot of alien DNA. She said there's a race of aliens. They're called Palladians. They are peace-loving people
Palladiums?
with soft
Do they
skin.
live at the Palladium on Sunset Boulevard?
And she says they're very beautiful. You're not one of those. she says, you're from Orion, and they don't really get along with anyone. And it was, but it's like, and then the more I investigated, I know you laugh, but I think our junk DNA is alien DNA.
Well, you know what's interesting that happened to me the other day? Maybe you can tell me your paranormal feeling on it. So I woke up and I was thinking about, because I broke up with Giuseppe and I thought, well, God, I'm going to have the next 20 years of my life with him where, that I can walk around and talk and I'm going to have this great husband and, we're going to have this great life together. And then when it didn't happen, I thought, oh, God, I just want to go to sleep and never wake up. I'm so sad. And I was so sad about it. Not that I wanted to die. I just didn't want to feel this way.
Right.
And this idea of no hope. And then I just started to think about death and the whole idea that I wouldn't exist. And what happens if I'm wrong? And that, because my belief in death is that we are here always. There is no heaven, there is no hell. We are living in heaven and hell right now. We have wonderful moments and terrible moments. You lose a child, you win an Academy Award, whatever you fall in love with somebody great, you get hit by a car, whatever the good and the bad stuff, it happens here. And the way people interpret it in the Bible was interpreted in a way that people thought it was someplace else. And there is no time. We made up time. You said get here at 3:30, 4 o'clock. We're going to do the thing at 4. We'll be done by 5, and then you'll go home. And that's beginning, middle, and end. There is no such thing as beginning, middle, and end. Yeah. There is no Monday through Friday.
Right.
We made all this up. We made all this up. We made up the idea that we're in different places and different times.
Somebody said that to me the other day. They
and
said
I believe that
there is no, they said there is
Makes
no time.
total
You
sense.
can't predict the future because time is just a concept. No beginning, no end, no early, no late. It was United Airlines told me that.
But also the idea of a cell phone. I mean, I can call Karen on the phone and she won't answer and tell me she likes me to text and I rather talk. And I can tell her that I love her and think that she's great. And I can so we have this human emotion through the air from where I live in Hollywood to she lives deep in the valley in a very sad place, but a nice apartment. And
next to an electrical cancer thing.
Right, where she could where she gets a little charge. But but we have this idea, if we turned off, all the lights, can we see how everything connects? I mean, a friend of mine who I'm doing my web series with called Smothered is in Puerto Vallarta now. And he sends me a text with a photograph on my phone. Now, this is so normal to you. To us, Karen and I, we can remember when my phone looks like the size of a pack of playing cards. If somebody would have said to me when I was 10 years old, you're going to be able to write letters on this, you're going to be able to shop on this, you're going to be able to listen to music on this, and you can make a movie on it, you can do all these things, I would have went, your address book is in it. It's a notepad. You could even look at stuff on it and have sex. I mean, it's just like, I would never have believed this. Mm-hmm. I couldn't comprehend it. Yeah. And I remember my grandmother who died in 2004, my grandma Molly, and I was trying to explain to her what the internet was. I say it's a large mall and in the World Book Encyclopedia. And she still couldn't get it, the concept of it, because it was just so out of her thinking. Yeah. And I think this idea of time and space and sound and is something that we can't really get. You probably get it more than we do. Because it's so the phone is so a part of you.
Yeah, and I had this thing too, kind of to play off your time thing, which I couldn't really explain like growing up, where like I went to camp and I remember having like a whole conversation with a counselor about this. But I always viewed time as like cyclical in terms of like we've already kind of like it's just on replay. Like you have your life and then it ends, then it starts over, and then it but then you're constantly crossing. So for the moment that we get to do this interview, like this is just us kind of
see, to me, I'm hearing you talk and there's something very familiar about me to you. The minute I saw you, there was an easiness between us. We just talked. Yeah. And there's certain people, Karen I haven't even known Karen that long, just a couple years. But there's a certain easiness. And I think that means that we are, this thing that you have here, this body, this shell it's not real.
Now you're getting close to where I go.
Yeah.
The one of the biggest things about the paranormal is near-death experiences, and I think that tells me everything. And
I almost died twice when I was very young.
Did you? Mm-hmm. And I have had out-of-body experiences, and I have done ayahuasca, and I know what it's like to be out of the body. And what you realize is your consciousness goes on forever. Okay.
I really hope so, because it scares me. It scared me to death the other night. It really
all those
freaked
jokes
me.
You can't use for eternity.
Yes, but it really freaked me out for just a second, thinking, being a gay kid that was suicidal. Mm-hmm. And I was 21 years old, which is 4 years younger than you. And in this area, I called the Suicide Prevention Center and went in and told some woman with an eye that winked like this at me, a German lady, that I was bisexual, supposedly at the time, which you think I probably am. And I remember, that I want. So I mean, that idea of that,
Well, I think there's first of all, it's an enormous. I'm going to try and recap this kind of small because it's such a because we also have been taught. There's us, and there's, like you said, there's God, and there's hell. I think there is a heaven and hell. I think there's a whole array of things between there and a whole array of levels and a whole bunch of things that we are not yet in tune with that are starting to come along. But I think that I do believe in reincarnation. I believe we are the lucky ones. And some people on this earth would say, no, we're not. But we are in a very heavy suit. Our earth suit is very heavy and it is not allowing people that have near-death experience sometimes don't even want to come back because of the joy and what's on the other side. But this here is where we work it out. This is where like somebody will ask me, why?
Well, how do you know that, Karen?
I don't know that, but here's my theory.
Okay.
From years of like, I just think when you start to read all religions and it started to take all of it and you sift it all together, it's all kind of saying the same thing. But I do absolutely believe in reincarnation because of being out of my body. Like I know who I was out of my body. And I think when someone says, well, why would there be a God who would let a little girl get molested? And my thinking is, number one, we're not seeing this from the big picture. Number two, what if that soul before it came here said, I want to learn about forgiveness. I want to learn to forgive. I want that part of my heart to be open. Okay.
Yeah.
What if she molested the other person in the last life?
What if God's not in charge?
Right. What if we are?
I think it's people. I don't think God's in charge. I don't think,
too.
and I don't think God's a person. God's a connection.
energy.
Yes.
It's a moment that
it's an energy.
That's what I agree
it's
with.
what we're having right now.
He
Is
doesn't
we're having
judge us.
no, and we're sitting here, the three of us, and we're having this conversation, and there's a certain respect and kindness and sense of humor that everybody seems to be having.
I think it's because of Paul.
Yeah, I do too. but there is a
I
God
agree
shot.
with
This
you.
is what I call a God shot.
Well, that's why standard religion wants to keep everybody in line because they're telling you there's a God that's pointing a finger and telling you what you should do, and that's it. Boom.
And everybody interprets everything the same way.
Right. Or everybody's. I always say everybody thinks their God is right, which is actually you should. You don't want to go to a church where you go, "What's your God like?" and they go, "Well, pretty insecure."
Well, in Barbara Streisand's Yentl,
Right.
everybody asked questions, and I know this sounds crazy, but in 1983 when that movie came out, and I thought, because I grew up being Jewish, and he told, I'd say, well, why am I having a bar mitzvah? What does this mean? You don't need to know. Just shut up and read
Right.
it. What are you, an idiot? Get off the road.
That's not right. That's not fair.
And I didn't. So I completely turned off. And then when I saw Yentl, it made me think, oh my God, ask questions.
Right. And
Why
that's
can't
the
you
whole thing.
debate and ask questions and
That's
say
the whole thing.
and find out how we can go to a higher
God
place.
doesn't want you to just follow rules. We all know that we shouldn't sleep with someone else's wife or murder people. That doesn't mean it doesn't happen. It doesn't mean it's not forgiven. Also, I think we have marriage all screwed up. I think that's a self-imposed human thing to control sexuality.
But it is a new thing. Marriage for love is a new thing. You know that.
Right, right.
I just saw Mary Queen of Scots in the theater.
I thought you meant down the street. And I was like, well, what are you doing? But I do, I'm sorry, I'm a one thing.
No, go ahead, please.
But I do believe that we have chosen to come here, which is why I know it aggravates people, but it's like choose your words carefully because right now the veil between the worlds is very thin and the universe can hear you. Okay.
Why do you think it's thin now any more than before?
Because of that's a ghost hunting thing. That's a lot of it is getting thinner. We're moving from the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius. All of a sudden, people that were kind of
this is the morning of the angel Aquarius.
People that used to see ghosts and put it away are all of a sudden calling you. Why are there so many ghosts?
So you're saying, slow down. So what you're saying then now is that we're. I was just going to use that word. We're evolving and we're able to see more. And in this industrial revolution that's been happening the last 150 years, I mean, it's so much faster.
But humans have not evolved, and we're starting.
It's overwhelming because it's just like my grandma Molly. I couldn't explain. It's just it's sometimes I just got to sit down and go, okay, what's happening? I remember remember that little video of the computer. You're too young because it was when you were born. When we first started using computers, there was a little video where the guy would take the computer and throw it because it was so. Do you remember that? Yeah, it was so. Oh, maybe you're too young, but I don't know. I still remember that. It was the first time I saw a little video. People would get so frustrated because it wouldn't do what you wanted. And when I really realized in the computer, oh my God, there isn't one way to do something. Right. I can get the same results and I can go 16 different ways.
Yes. And that's why I want to say that I want you to listen to my reading of you again. And here's why. I totally understand how you feel. And this guy will never be back and you're all done and that's it. But don't think that you always know the outcome. We don't know anything.
Do you think that Giuseppe's going to come back when?
I don't know.
I don't
And
do times. I don't do times. I'll be dead.
I don't know, but you see, but that's another finite. And comedy is better to have finites. But you know what? This is the thing. I got mad at Kaiser. I've been with Kaiser for like 30 years. I can't stand them. And
What'd they do?
And somebody said,
Kaiser
they're terrible.
Permanente.
They tried to charge me $3,000 for anything. And they didn't tell me. I went in and said, how much is this appointment? They said 75. They sent me a bill for $3,000. So I was like, I am so about public shaming. And I said, you will get a joke about you every day on Twitter. And I went after them. And my friend kept saying, because I went through all the steps, they kept saying, no, no, no. And it was literally for a pap smear. They tried to charge me $3,000 for a pap smear.
Even though you have insurance with them?
I don't anymore. I quit. But they kept, and a friend kept saying to me, don't think you know all the outcomes. And I kept going, I know the outcomes. Either they're going to say yes or I'm going to have to pay it. And I was like, man. She goes, don't be married to the outcome. Sure enough, I was getting ready to pay it. And a phone call came in and they had seen all the Twitter. And the woman says, we would like to make this right. And we're going to get rid of the whole bill. And I didn't see that.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to do that about all my bills.
Well, I was right. They had
Can we do
screwed
that
up my
about
plan.
oh, they did?
They had screwed up my plan. They never updated it. So everything was coming up as a $3,000. But I had it with it. I don't have any health insurance and I'm not going to get it for a year and I can afford it. But I'm just going to take my money and put it away for a little while. But anyways, but with this guy, this is good for now. The way you feel for now is good. But let me tell you, don't be married to any outcome because we don't know.
I do love him.
Yeah. And you know what else? Let me tell you something. I was sure I got a nice, what is fame? You know what I would love? I would love people listening to my podcast. I'd love them listen to watch my little thing, come to a show. Now my podcast is monetized. All these things are all I want. That's good. That doesn't mean I'm not going to be
I just want to
famous.
work
It's a
with
different
talented
kind.
people and have good parts.
There you go. And you're already halfway there, aren't you?
I'm more than halfway, but
Right.
I'm up for a part. I shouldn't say I'm up for a part on.
Yay! And you know what though?
I'm waiting to hear.
This is.
I don't like to say what it is because if I don't get it, it's ridiculous to say it on.
Well, what do you want?
I could what?
If you want to.
I'm up for a part on Transparent.
Yay!
Yeah, I mean, I don't have it,
Well, you know.
But I have 2 movies coming out next year, or more if you call it
Right.
Hank.
Right. And then, you know what? You're making a living. This is success and it can just get better. But I just want to say one thing. If anyone, there are 2 unbelievable episodes I get to talk to the greatest guest that blew my mind. One is Jessa Reed. Go to my podcast and listen to Jessa Reed and her near-death experience. And January 4th, I have another one from a woman named Natalie Gray. And I feel like these give me so much hope for us, for who we are, for what we can accomplish. And and the other stuff is pretty fun. It's scary. It's creepy. UFOs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
My people are coming.
Why is that creepy? It doesn't scare me. I think
Well, some of it is.
why does when you ever watch a movie, someone from another planet, they always have to be terrible people.
Not my people.
Oh.
Don't talk about my people. My people have been very oppressed. And here's the thing. I wasn't sure on it. And then some other woman comes up, gives me another.
Oh, you're part of the Ryans group, right?
I'm the Orions. She goes, you're a captain. And I was like, well, now I'm in if I'm a captain somewhere.
Do you got a uniform?
But here's what's scary. Someone goes, you should read a book on them. So I pick up a book.
Wait, they wrote a book?
There's books on the alien. Well, reptilians are bad. Trump's a reptilian. But she goes, read about the Orions. These are your people. So I
Trump
pick up
is a
the book.
reptilian?
He's a reptilian.
What am I?
I don't know what you are yet. You could be an Orion because here, listen to this.
I don't think
First thing about them, the only
sounds
group
Irish.
of aliens with a sense of humor. Number 1.
Oh.
Second, weird blue eyes. Look, Who's got weird blue eyes? Third,
Weird. Why are your eyes weird? They're not weird. Maybe a little makeup would have helped.
yes. Third, they're all vegan. They only plant it,
please.
and I know that's what I said. I go, please. I go.
How do you know if they're
vegan?"
all vegan?
They are.
That's like saying all gay people like pink.
But wait. I love that you
And I
went
hate
with.
pink.
You went with. I love that you didn't go with they don't exist. You went with some of them might eat meat.
Yes. Well, I just don't think that all of anything is one way.
Well,
Your
you don't know my
generation has
people.
proved that so much because you're all so fluid and liquid. I was saying liquid for a long time. I didn't know it was,
That's a good word.
because I forgot that it was fluid. And then somebody got really upset with me. We're not liquid and
They
we're
got
fluid.
offended by liquid.
Yeah.
But some of my podcasts can get a little some really scary hauntings and stuff. But those near-death experiences, and there's
Oh,
another.
come on. What do they do that's so scary? They move a table from one side of the room to the other?
No.
They can kill you?
Yeah.
And then you get to go live with them.
You hope not. I hope not.
then
They
you-
can start mimicking people in your house so that you're talking to someone that you think is your roommate and it's not.
I don't have a roommate.
Yeah, I know. Well, we know why. Because you don't have enough demons in your apartment.
No, because if Giuseppe,
I don't
moves in-
have. I don't have one either. No, you can be. They can be terrifying. There are some things that can be terrifying. So, but the more I listen to near death experience, the more you'll feel purpose in life and you'll feel gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Wow. Well,
There you go.
we're near the end of the episode.
Wow.
I feel like this conversation could keep
Just
going for
started.
like multiple
Oh, honey, we
hours.
could talk for hours.
Yeah. Well, Karen Rontowski, Jason Stuart,
Thanks.
I'm happy you're here. I have a few more questions. But
Please.
these are quick fire questions.
I
so-
love that. It's like a lightning round.
Lightning round, right
You know
at
what
the
that's
end.
from?
No.
Password with goddamn fucking Betty White and her her deceased husband Alan Ludden. They used to have a thing called the lightning round, and that's where it came from. Okay, I'm sorry.
All right. Geraldo, not Geraldo. Got it.
Right. Jason Stuart, 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 not Stewart, Stuart.
Oh. So the first question is, what smell reminds you of home?
Oh God.
I have the slow cooker on all day. So today there's a black bean soup at home that is carrot, and that's delicious. So it's the cumin,
Oh, my house?
a vegan.
Oh, lemon pledge after Sonia, my housekeeper, leaves.
That's a popular. We get Fabuloso. We get all these different ones.
Lemon pledge.
Lemon Pledge. If you weren't a comic, what would your career be?
Well, I'm an actor and a comedian, so I think if I weren't, I'd probably be a teacher.
Teacher. Got it.
Marine biologist. I'm obsessed with octopuses, which, by the way, are from aliens. They can't match octopus UFO, or they can't match octopus DNA to anything. They think it came off a meteorite. Those are my people. I got to go see them.
Are they Orions?
I think they are, but they're fabulously interested. This is how mean and smart an octopus is. If you're a diver and you go up to them, they'll pull the tube out of your mouth and hold it just far enough away so you can't reach it. They get in a fight. They cut off one arm. The arm goes that way. The octopus goes the other way. That arm
Why do I
still
need
looks
to
for
know
food.
this? This is
'cause
frightening.
you might be in the ocean.
I'm
I
not
know,
ever
I love
going.
this.
I'm a Jew. We never go in
All
the
right.
water. We stand and go,
So I-
oh, God, it's so cold.
So I would be a marine biologist. I'm
Marine
sorry.
biology. And I have one final question.
Oh, is that it?
This is going to be comedy related. So, if you could go back in time and give barely starting out you a piece of advice, what would it be in comedy?
Oh, God.
I would just say relax.
Don't be so afraid. I was so afraid of getting fired all the time. Even when I headlined for 20 years, I did comedy clubs until around 10 years ago. It was a choice to stop and just do events. And I headlined and went all around the country. And I was just so afraid of getting fired all the time because, because I was gay or because I didn't sell enough tickets or, and I just
you didn't look at you weren't friendly enough with the booker.
I didn't have, or maybe I did, 44 minutes instead of 45, or I went over and did 50 minutes when they said do 45 or whatever.
I would say you can't be fired from show business. Have some fun.
That's great that Dom did that. What a great thing to remember. I'll quote him on that from now on.
Yeah.
That's so cool. All right, guys. Please give your social media. Where can people find you guys?
Instagram is the Jason Stuart. Twitter is Jason_Stuart, and Facebook is Jason Stuart TOO.
Cool. Okay.
Paranormal Karen, you can find paranormalkaren.com is my website. You can book a tarot reading there. At Rontowski on Instagram or YouTube. Just put in Paranormal Karen.
And it's just how you think. Ron Tao
Ski.
Ski.
Yeah.
Ron TOWSKI. And I have jasonstuart.com, STUART. So all my social media is there. If you forget anything, you just click onto it.
Or remember Psychic Stand Up. That's me too.
Oh, wow.
Well, thank you guys for listening to the Comedy Pop-Up Podcast.